So how do you size a water softener? Do I need a cubic foot? Do I need a cubic foot and a half? How big a water softener do I need for my household? Well, we calculate that based on the amount of hardness that you have in your water. And if you have any level of iron or manganese, we're going to add those values and we come up with a total compensated hardness value. In combination with how much daily water use your household has, we add those two numbers together to come up with what we call the daily water demand. So if you have 4 people in your house, we calculate each person by 60 gallons. And this 60 gallons per person per day is a national average water use. It includes flushing toilets, it includes taking baths, showers, laundry. Now, if you have 10 grains of hardness, that's 240 times 10. So that's a demand of 2,400 grains that we need in capacity per day. If we have a 24,000 grain water softener, arguably we can go 10 days between regenerations. That's basically the way we calculate water capacity or water softener capacity to figure out what you need in your household. Now, 10 days at a 24,000 grain softener, we want to build in a reserve capacity to that calculation. And typically it's somewhere between 25 and 30%. So we would take that and hold it off in reserve. And the reason that we want that reserve capacity, as I alluded to earlier, that daily water usage is not straight across even. You probably don't do laundry every day. Maybe, like me, you do laundry on Saturdays. So my water use on Saturday is a lot higher than any other day of the week. Well, by having a reserve capacity in the softener, if I should go over my calculation a little bit, I've got plenty of resin capacity left so I don't run out of soft water. So that's part of the equation in how we size a water softener. Now, what can happen in the salt tank can be a problem as well. If you put too much salt in there, the weight of the salt can actually help create what's called a salt bridge. And water comes into the bottom of the salt tank and it erodes the salt, creates the brine solution, but the salt doesn't shift down because it's created this bridge, if you will, on the bottom of it. And eventually it's regenerating and it's putting water in there and taking water out, and it's not in contact with salt. So it would be as if you didn't put salt in it, but you open the lid and there's still plenty of salt in there. What you don't see is this cavern that's been created down below. So every once in a while, you kind of want to thump the side of the brine tank, salt tank, so that if it did shift or create that bridge, it'll all kind of drop to the bottom. And that's a reason why you don't want to overfill the salt tank. I think, obviously it would be a great idea, just fill that thing up to the top and let it be for a couple of months. If your basement or where you're keeping this water softener is where there's a lot of humidity and temperature swings, like if it's in your garage, don't overfill the brine tank because it's going to be apt to create these salt bridges. Now, if you have a fair amount of iron in your water, one of the maintenance steps there is to make sure you use a resin cleaner, to red out salt, for example, or a liquid resin cleaner helps keep the resin beads from becoming iron fouled. It's not a bad idea to run resin cleaner through it even if you don't have any iron, but specifically if you have iron, you definitely want to use a resin cleaner. Bottom line, if your water softener is well maintained and cared for, you don't let it run out of salt, and it's not being beat up by chlorine, resin should last a good 18 years or more. I've seen water softeners work for 25 years and better, and they're still taking hardness out and doing a great job. Typically though, 20 years is about the best you can expect out of a resin, if you've taken care of it. If you're on city water and you have chlorine, that number might be less. It might be somewhere between 15 years and a little more. So if you've got problems within a few years of installing a water softener, that's where that resin cleaner might come in handy to help you get it back and moving again. To protect the resin from chlorine, a good carbon filter in front of the water softener is always a great idea. Well, that's all I've got for water softeners today. Be sure and give us a call if you have any questions, you need help sizing, or you need some additional water treatment items to go with it. Pre-treatment, or if you're on a well, you should have ultraviolet disinfection if you don't already. Give us a call. Be sure and like our video, subscribe to our channel, and check us out at freshwatersystems.com.